Hey guys, Marco from Feel Like an Athlete here, bringing you another video of the week. This week I want to, touch on an old video that I had made that I didn't really get a lot of the information across. I didn't really go into it too much, so I wanted to talk about intermittent fasting because I think still these days it's very much a subject that's searched online and very much something that I get a lot of questions about. What are the benefits? How do you do it? Should a certain person be doing it? Every Feel Like an Athlete online client or people who purchase meal plans from us do some form of intermittent fasting, and there are different ways to do it, there isn't one right or wrong way. It's just got to essentially work for you guys as well, right? I'd probably say, as a disclaimer, if you have some type of blood sugar issue, pre-diabetic, you might have type 2, I would speak to a professional or healthcare provider first before you start intermittent fasting, because it can, going that long without food can obviously affect you differently. Yeah, so intermittent fasting, I guess, what is it? Essentially is you going a certain amount of time period without eating. More importantly, without having anything, consuming anything that metabolizes. So, water, black coffee, stuff like that has 0 calories in it. So you're generally okay with that, but not even having, like a coconut water or a juice or something that has calories in it will break your fast. So you've got to go a certain time without metabolizing, without consuming anything. That's how you do intermittent fasting. What are the benefits? What does it do? And this has been, there are studies all over the world that back this stuff up. We'll talk about the really, really easy stuff. So calorie restriction. So if you're someone who has, you just have a poor diet, you generally eat really, really bad food. You're eating too much of it. All this intermittent fasting is going to be doing is going to be cutting that down, restricting some of those bad calories that you take in. Then from there, the next benefit would be, shut up, Molly, shut up, I'm trying to make a video. Sorry guys, I think Mikey's stealing the bone from Molly or something. But the next benefit would then be that it will essentially help with overall weight and fat loss. Because if you are cutting out calories, and we're just talking about one day over the week, then if you do that for 4, 5, 6 weeks, then you're going to be reducing the overall calories that you take in, and that's going to be helping with weight loss, right? You add in a bit of training, and you'll benefit there. The third one, we'll get a bit more into science. Now, there's a process called autophagy. I'll never get that right. Autophagy, and essentially this is what happens when you do fasting. Basically, your body, you're repairing yourself from the inside out at a cellular level. So this process helps to clean, repair, and get rid of damaged cells that can happen. Most people have damaged cells in their body from a whole bunch of different reasons, right? So it will help clean this all up. So essentially, you're not creating new cells to keep up with the everyday demand. You're cleaning the damaged cells up, and you're repairing ones that can be repaired. So that's super, super powerful, because then what happens with that is what fasting also does, and that's a direct reason why, is it helps to reduce inflammation in the body. So when we talk about inflammation, just think of anything to do with pain. That's usually to do with inflammation in the body. It is like a protective immune system response that has to happen, but it also causes damaging and aging of your cells. So if we've got this autophagy happening in the body, I still think I stuffed that up, then that's going to help with the overall reduction of inflammation. And lastly, I think something else that's been really, really common with intermittent fasting and with studies is showing that it supports hormone regulation and helps to lower especially type 2 diabetes. So because of it can help regulate your insulin levels. So if you're someone who has blood sugar levels issues, you're someone who's got some of your markers with that are super, super high, intermittent fasting can help regulate your insulin. So they're kind of the main takeaways from that, guys. So how do you do it? How do you get started? So it really depends on how you are day to day, but there is the 5-2 diet that's quite popular, and that's more the calorie restriction side of intermittent fasting. So 5 days you eat quite normally, and then 2 days you restrict your calories to, about 500 to 600. So 500 to 600 calories a day. So you might have 2 or 3 really small meals. But the other 5 days, from what research has shown, is you just kind of eat however you want to eat. You can eat like a pig, really. There's a 16-8 window, so 16 hours off food, 8 hours on. So you have an 8-hour eating window. And from what a lot of papers have shown is that you need to do that quite regularly. You can't do like 2 or 3 days of just being a pig and then 2 or 3 days of the 16-8. You've got to do it, 5-6 times a week, the 16-8. And the one that I use with most of my clients is the 12 to 14 hour fast when you're awake. So you wake up, you have breakfast, 12 to 14 hours, you don't have anything except for what I mentioned earlier, nothing that metabolizes. And then you have dinner. So let's say you wake up at 6 a.m., you eat breakfast at 6:30. Minimum, you have dinner at 6:30 or 7:30, 8:30 is even better. The longer the fast, the better. And then the last one, which you've probably seen some of me on social media talk about, I've mentioned it in videos, it's a 24-hour fast, which is dinner to dinner. 24-hour fast, I would not recommend doing breakfast to breakfast because you might have issues with your sleep, and we don't want to mess with your sleep. But yeah, they're probably the most important. They're probably the most important and I guess the most popular timeframes in regard to intermittent fasting. Like I said, give it a go. See how you feel. Try and go as long as you can. Even if you do try the 12 to 14 hour one and you fail 8 hours through, 8 hours and you've got to eat, that's cool. Give it a go the next week. See how you go. If you guys have any questions about intermittent fasting and want to learn more, let me know. Thanks.